more not talking about Ash to do.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a whole episode of us just saying things that have nothing to do with Ash.
Yes. So, Ash and Annette. There's an episode of Friends I remember.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are on to Blue Lions, right?
Yes, we are. Yes.
Blue Lions!
We
miss sports.
We miss sports.
Great. I believe we made... How are you guys enjoying baseball being back?
Yeah, it's sort of a weird... It's awkward. It's very awkward. It's weird and it's awkward. Because, I'll catch little bits and we're like, yeah, go, player, and your accomplishment. And then I'll have a moment of like, but it's wrong, and it's...
And then there's the fake crowds.
I would argue.
Yeah,
listen,
actually,
I know different stadiums are doing them different ways, but the game I saw had just a bunch of cardboard cutouts in the audience, and I was like, "Yep, this is how baseball should be."
Well, supposedly those are fans who paid money to have their cardboard cutouts there.
I believe that, but I believe also part of the deal is if a foul ball hits their cutout, they get that ball.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of like that. What
nice.
I would rather do is have the cameras focus on, like, remember how much everyone loves the rally squirrel? Imagine how many squirrels are living in these stadiums right now. You can just cut to squirrels. Like the St. Louis Cardinals can set up cardinal feeders and cardinal birdhouses and try and see how many cardinals they can lure in for the maximum amount of luck. And things like, in the Twins in the target field, you can go, okay, well, looks like the flock of Canadian geese have landed in the home run bleachers. And the last time they landed in the home run bleachers, Nelson Cruz hit a 3-run home run. So let's see if the streak continues.
These are $1 million ideas, and I'm hesitant to put them up publicly on the internet.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go with Dedue. Yeah, John, you've already made jokes to the equivalent of "let's do it" that you might not remember. So please restrain yourself.
I don't specifically remember them, but there's that like deep down level of I don't feel I have to because I feel it's been done, and probably by me.
And actually, before we get going, I feel like we need to share something. Audrey, you had an epiphany involving Hubert that I feel like the public needs to know.
Oh, yes. So I realized not long ago, and I think this was a shower thought because sometimes you just have thoughts like under hot water. I don't know why. Hubert is actually Waylon Smithers. He is the Smithers to Edelgard's Mr. Burns. If you go back and look at Smithers moments or Smithers GIFs or things like that, I mean, all that you need is to find out that Hubert has a Malibu Stacy collection, and it's all exact. It is a direct one-to-one comparison, and yes,
yeah. So
there you go. Fan art, people. I asked for fan art.
Can confirm every scene I think of now that has Mr. Burns and Smithers, I'm like, man, you just put Edelgard and Hubert in there, and it's just perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Edelgard would absolutely pull a gun and insist he get in the spruce moose.
Yes, she would. All right.
And picture her singing "See My Vest."
Yeah. It's just too perfect. Let's talk about Dedue.
Okay. Dedue, taciturn devotee. It's my turn to read these, right?
That's correct.
All right. As a loyal vassal, Dedue dedicated. I need to look in closer here.
He dedicated.
John, I had one rule for you.
All right. As a loyal vassal, Dedue dedicated his life to supporting King Dimitri through his entire reign. After tending to his liege on his deathbed, Dedue resumed his post at Dimitri's grave on the edge of Ried? Yeah, there we go. There, it is said that he stood sentinel over the peaceful realm he had helped to build until the end of his days. So here's the problem with Dedue, and I feel like it might be racist to say this, but Dedue is actually the dog from Futurama.
Oh, no!
Oh.
Is that not what was just described?
I mean, that's kind of the ending that we just read. Also, we'll see where it goes, but there might be a case for this being the most canon Dedue ending.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
seems. I have a hard time believing that he could love anyone as much as he.
Loves his duty to Dimitri.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Well, let's
so that
see if
happened.
someone can convince us otherwise.
We
We
have to do
already did
Byleth first.
Dimitri. Byleth.
A year after Byleth was appointed to succeed Rhea as the new archbishop, she announced her marriage to Dedue, who had resigned his position as the king's vassal. All right there, where it's unbelievable. Their wedding ceremony, brightly colored with all the most beautiful flowers from Duscar, set the tone for their happy life together. Dedue served as an intermediary between Fergus and the church, and alongside the archbishop, committed to improve relations with foreign nations as part of the rebuilding effort. In their later years, they retired to the Duscar Peninsula, where they spent the remainder of their lives gardening in peace and quiet. None of that sounds remotely in character. This is a bad ship.
Maybe there will be one later. I can't imagine a pairing that would involve less communication than these two.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't see it. I'm sorry. No.
John, would you like to weigh in, or are we just stamping this bad?
I think we're stamping it bad. Well, I think it would have even been better. I think because it involves them, two people saying so little. Had it been more like his solo, where they both went and just stared out at the ocean for years on end, not speaking to each other, I would have been more on board with it. But
they're like two Easter Island heads.
Yeah. That would have bumped me up to
neutral.
Bumped me up to neutral, but this is
a bad ship.
This is bad.
All
yeah.
right, we're giving a pretty solid bad on this one. Ooh, this will be more interesting.
I tried for this and I failed.
Oh, wow.
Though the innocence of the Duscar people was proven, prejudice against them still lingered in the kingdom capital. For this reason, Ash refused a knighthood when it was offered to him, and chose instead to open an inn that specialized in Duscar cuisine. Dedue began to frequent the place on breaks from his duty as the king's vassal, and over time imparted to Ash his culinary wisdom. As the inn gained popularity, the people of the kingdom began to finally see the Duscar people in a positive light. This led to reconciliation between the two cultures that came more quickly than expected. All right, this is a do not finish, but I like it anyway.
Is it a do not finish? I think if we read between the lines a lot, we could probably judge it as a do not finish.
There's other ones that we haven't read between the lines that strongly
That's
on.
Fair. That's fair.
It's a do not finish.
Go ahead, John.
It's an interesting, completely different take from some of the other ones we've seen.
Oh, really? You think so? For anybody who's concerned, the baby is not coughing. It is not a COVID baby. He just likes making that sound now and scaring his parents.
Yeah, it's a good sound to make. The one sad thing, if we're naming this a do not finish ending, is that we're removing the possibility of these two adopting and raising the most boring child who has ever existed, which is a shame.
Yeah, but
yeah,
they're probably making really spicy, interesting dishes. And
fair.
let's be fair. That's about the most spice they're going to have in their lives.
All right, I'm done talking about anything related to Ash. We're moving on.
Yes.
All right, Mercedes, benevolent soul. 2 years after the war, Dedue and his wife Mercedes opened a school in Duscar residential district in Ferdinand. The school educated Duscar children who had never been given structured learning before in reading, writing, arithmetic, and even Duscar history. Many years later, when the Duscar people reclaimed their homeland, the people who attended the school were able to resettle there and revive their old culture. Because of this, Dedue and Mercedes were forever renowned by the Duscar. This is too boring to be neutral. Even.
I'm okay. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it.
I don't hate it, but I mean, it doesn't even cover anything of how, it's just, and his wife. There's no ship in it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, their supports are basically, hey, what about the gods, though? Tell me about your gods. And that's
I mean, I
not
guess that lays the
super interesting,
groundwork
but it's
for their
unique at least,
culture.
yeah.
But
And like, this at least seems like a scenario where they'd both be like in a position where they're happy. So I'm not necessarily saying I like this to the point of being good, but I'd be okay with this one being neutral.
so far, they haven't even tried to believably argue that Dedue fell in love with anyone.
Well, obviously, like anyone he quote unquote marries, he's just pretending to love more than Dimitri.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
John,
sure
would you like
he
to weigh in
loved.
at all?
Well, I think, and I think where you're going with this is, it's not that anyone he loves more than Dimitri. It's anyone he loves more than his duty towards Dimitri.
Yeah, that's the one.
So what are we calling this one?
I guess we can achieve neutral by grading on a curve.
I'll go with neutral. Yeah.
Achieving neutral. Thank you, neutral duo.
It would have been bad in a lot of other characters, but we can go neutral.
Yeah.
A bloomed overachiever. All right, Annette. Sometime after the war, Dedue and Annette exchanged wedding vows in a modest ceremony and then settled down to a life in Ferdinand. For them, life after marriage stayed much the same as before. Dedue continued his duty to King Dimitri, and Annette took up a teaching position in Ferdinand's School of Sorcery. Though each gave the other space for the work that was important to them, they made sure to spend much of their free time together and to bond over cooking and housework. Okay, look, I don't necessarily like Annette that much, but she deserves more than being Dedue's beard.
What? I mean, how can you deny her this incredibly romantic life of cooking and housework?
When
she's,
Dual cooking and housework, mind you.
Yes.
Yet another one where they don't describe any kind of relationship lead-in. It's just like, they got married.
The writers are like, listen, we get it. There's no way Dedue is falling in love, but whatever. Here we go.
Let's face it, you're only getting this result by accident.
Yeah.
What? Is this a bad one?
Bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Boy, Dedue, you're really rocking hard right now.
Yeah. Well, and really, comparing it to, comparing it to Mercedes, I.
Yeah, you're right. After the war, Dedue and Ingrid both served as protectors to the newly crowned King Dimitri, the former as his loyal vassal, the latter as a knight sworn to House Bladed. The pair fought side by side on countless occasions and were known to be inseparable on the battlefield. Tales of the taciturn vassal and the steadfast lady knight were told by bards all throughout Fodlan, and it is said their friendship helped spark the reconciliation between the peoples of Fargus and Dusker. Well, it's Do Not Finish.
It's Do Not Finish. It's, I would argue, maybe the most believable, aside from the Dog from Futurama ending.
Yeah, it is, and here's what it makes me think of. It makes me think of what was clearly the missed ending of Game of Thrones, which was the Hound and Brienne serving the Queen of the North as her Queen's Guard.
Yeah.
So
Do Not Finish, but also an unfortunate. Oops, go ahead.
Anyway, yes, Do Not Finish, but believable.
And also an unfortunate reminder that Game of Thrones ending is still bad.
At some point, we're going to do this on Discord, and I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint on all of the things that went wrong in season 8.
That's exciting.
You laugh. You laugh. It's already half developed. Plain. Let's see how they pull this one off. Slumbering Princess. After the war, Dedue returned to Ferdinand, to support King Dimitri's reign as his vassal. As he worked, his wife, Flane, was determined to support him with home-cooked meals. Dedue patiently endured the more disastrous of his wife's experiments while teaching her everything he knew. Yeah, I know. Eventually, Flane's talent blossomed, and she became a renowned chef. It is said that
she also hit puberty.
Yeah, it is said that those who were lucky enough to taste her cooking always asked for more, and that Dedue's eyes lit up with affection and pride when she told him what she was planning to prepare next. No, this is possibly my least favorite Flame so far.
So far.
Well, yeah.
I actually kind of like these guys as supports, but it was definitely not this is a support that should end in romance. It was
yeah.
It was a very like nice like friendship, like Flayn is terrible at cooking. Dedue is good at cooking and also can like manage to eat food that should not be consumed by humans, which is also kind of what the Dimitri Flayn supports were. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, come to think of it. But this is, note, yet another one. As he worked his wife, Flayn, no lead-in, no explanation. Like, so many of these others have a, here's how they fell in love, or at least here's how they reached marriage.
Marriage, yeah.
But, nope, this is a bad ship.
And Sedith returned to his home planet.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Distant
exactly like the end of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
Wow. After the war, Dedue returns to Ferdiad to support King Dimitri's reign as his vassal. Shamir was ever near, and as Dedue's trusted partner and a mercenary for the royal family, she complemented his public-facing work, but by handling, that's a mistake, by handling any necessary covert operations. The trusting professional relationship between the two blossomed into love, and soon they were married. It is said that when absolutely no one else was around, they would let down their guard and engage in secret jokes and idle chatter. Okay.
I like this one.
They actually tried.
They actually tried. I can believe the professional respect. That I also kind of liked their support, where she gets over like her issues with Dusker and stuff like that. So no, that wasn't her. That was Ingrid.
Yeah,
I forgot. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. These two seem like two that can get on the same wavelength pretty easily, and like if there's any way that either of them is going to actually fall in love and get married with someone, it's by starting as co-workers first.
Yes. Which is why, which again is why the Ingrid one was, had potential, but was simply do not finish.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, we're gonna stamp this one as good then.
Good ship.
Yeah.
Well, does that make it real obvious what our pick for best ship for Dedue is?
Well, our pick for best ship for Dedue is Dedue and Duty.
Just Dedue by himself.
Yes, just Dedue by himself.
All right, so we'll say Dedue by himself is first place. Who's second?
Shamir is definitely second, and then I'm going to argue Ash. I don't care those who do not finish.
I would say probably Dimitri would be
back to Dimitri, yeah.
That's true. I just like my Blyleth Dimitri matchup so much, I have trouble picturing him.
That's fair. Well, there you go. Old Dedue hunkering down by himself and being the dog from Futurama.
That's not racist, is it?
No.
Oh, racist. Okay.
No.
Probably not. I don't know.
Okay.
Not as racist as
Ingrid is. I'm just kidding.
It's true. But as arguably the Ash opening a restaurant, and once they learn Dusker food, they stop being racist against the
Well, we're definitely not as racist as they are.
Yeah.